Hello and welcome back, all of you attendees who attended the library's HTML course, day one. Thank you for attending. This is Andrea, also known as Happy, or Happy Teach. That's my nickname, or my teaching nickname. So in class, I told you that we're going to create this. So this website right here that you see, I'm going to pull it out real quick. That goes in its own area. Okay, so this website that you see, this is what we're going to create. It's totally responsive. You see the website behind it. That's okay. It's totally responsive, and it responds to whatever device, and that's what we're going to create. So what we were working on at the library is the HTML solid structure. So what I'm going to do, I'm not going to make you watch me type. I'm going to explain stuff as I paste it in to the index area. So I'm going to minimize this. Another thing I talked to you guys about is the W3 Schools website. It's a really good website to go to. If you go to it, you're going to see this, and you click on Learn HTML, and what happens is it goes through little tutorials that you can do based off of what you learn in the tutorial. So just like this one, it's saying what the examples are, and let's say you try it yourself. You click on that, then you can go and you can change over here where it says this is a heading. You can say something like this is a paper, and then you hit run and you can see it right over there. So I do recommend this website. It's a really good website. My students during the day, I tell them about that website and they use it quite often. All right, so let's get started. I'm just going to put a blank web page up so we can see it, but I'm going to minimize that for now. The program that we were using at the library was Notepad++. That's for Windows. I am working on a Mac. As you can see, the top part is probably different from yours. But there's not many differences that we have to worry about. One of the main differences is when I say command, I'm talking about control for you PC folks. And when I say alt, or if I say option, I'm talking about the alt key because it is alt on the PC. So those are the main differences. Meanwhile, Text Wrangler is the program that I'm using on the Mac because it's free. It looks like this. The way my screen is set up, I have to bring things in for you guys to see it. So this is the icon for Text Wrangler. You guys should be using Notepad++ if you're on a PC because they're free programs. They also have other free text editing programs as well. But as I like to always state, to build a website, you don't need a fancy program. All you need is a text editor and a browser. The browser that we're going to use, and you have many to choose from, is Chrome. As you saw when it was up earlier, I'm going to pull this window out because I don't want anything else distracting from what we're doing. Okay, so the one we're going to use is Chrome, and that's this one right here. And so we can get started. Now, what I won't do is, again, I won't type. I will paste things in so that you can see step by step, and I'll describe it and explain it to you. All right, so the first thing that we want to put in our website is the doctype.html. You guys already did most of this in class. I just want to make sure that that I go back over what they mean and briefly show you, just in case something was mistyped. You guys can type that information in. All right, so here's the doctype HTML, and the only thing this is doing is telling the browser, hey, the type of document that I'm about to create is an HTML5, and that's it. It serves no other purpose. So remember, the whole time you're creating a website, you're really just communicating with the browser. You're communicating on how you want your text to be marked up, because we talked about HTML, which is really just hypertext markup language. There is no coding to HTML and CSS. It is all just marking up and styling your HTML document. But in any event, here's our doctype HTML. Now we want to tell the browser, okay, so our HTML is going to start right now. So as always, we'll put our HTML in there, but when we have an open, right, tag, like we talked about at the library, we need to have a close. So anytime we have an open tag, we want to close it out. So now we have our HTML, and we're going to put information in between there. The next bit of information was our head area. I'm just going to grab this whole area for head. We'll talk about this as we go. So we have our head area, and inside of here we have the head. This meta information is just to tell browsers if they go overseas what type of keyboard we're using, which is UTF-8. There is a long reason as to why we would use this. Plenty of documents that are out on the web that you can read, but they are pages and pages, and I will warn you, quite boring. But the bottom line is, this is the type of keyboards we use over here in the States, and so this is just saying that these are the type of keyboards that this is the type of input device that we're using. And if they're in another country and they're using a different type, they may need to convert it or whatever they need to do. All right, so then we have our title tag. The title tag really just puts the information in that top tab of the browser. So resume of your name. I'm going to do my name, Happy Teach. And so now this title will show up in the browser. Okay, so now we open our head up here. We have that meta, which is a self-closing tag, which means it doesn't have to have a closing tag. We have our title tag, but I didn't close that head tag. Did you see that? You guys let me get away with that. We have to make sure we close our tags always, because some browsers will let you get away with it, but some browsers won't. And if you're going to be building websites, you want to make sure that that yours is solid. So the next tags, I am going to type them in because we have a lot to go into this area, is going to be our body tag. Now remember, with the body tag, that means that everything that you want seen in your website, you're going to put in the body tag. So this is showing everything that's actually in the browser window. You need to have a body tag for. All right, so our next set of tags is our section tag. And so body, remember we talked about the parent-child relationship. Body becomes a parent, and body just had a child. So the section class equals heading area is going to be our first class. And of course, where we have an open, we must have a close. So let's go ahead and close that. All right. And then remember, attributes, which is what this is, extend the functionality of the tag. So yeah, we have section, which is really just, okay, so it's a box or a section of the area, but it doesn't have a label. And so that's what attributes allow, is they allow us to do a lot of things with it. But one of the things they allow us is to put a label on the tag. Remember, the scenario I gave was if you're a moving company and you're moving boxes and you have all these boxes that are to be moved, and they're beautiful, you know, beautiful brown, regular boxes. But when the moving company goes into your house to place the boxes where they belong, if they don't have a label on them, then they don't know where they are. It's just a box that really just has no placement. And that's what the web is. They're always boxes that are just sitting there with no label. And so when you add the label, you're putting the label on the boxes so you know where it goes. All right, so the next thing we did was we brought our image in, and we had a lot of information about that image. So let's go ahead and in our section area and bring our image in. So we bought the image, which is also a self-closing tag. We gave it a class of business. We had to tell the browser where to go get the image from, so we need to give it a source attribute. We're telling it now, hey browser, you're going to go into the images folder that is in the local root folder, right? And then inside of there, I want you to grab a file called resume guy _960 by 720.jpg. The alt text, we wanted this the information that you're going to give for people who may have disabilities and they have screen readers to read it to them. This is also required. So the alt equals, the alt attribute has to be with any image tag. So alt equals, and then the name that we just said was image of young man sitting on a seat. Now that alt information can be brief. It can be one line. You don't want to give them paragraphs and have to have that reader read a paragraph, but you just want enough information that that viewer can also enjoy your website. All right, so with images, we have the width and the height attributes. So that's all we're giving it, is whatever the width and height attributes are. according to the image. And then the title equals image of a young man sitting on a seat. This title is what provides us when we hover over the picture. It'll also tell us some information about it. So that's pretty cool. All right, so the next thing we did was with our H3 tag, we brought in our contact information. Now, right about this time, we actually, in class, we pasted that document. Remember the document that was inside of our resources folder. So this is the folder that I gave you guys. Inside of the images folder were a few images, and then inside the resource folder was some text and the JPEG. So we're doing this a little bit different because I'm actually just going to paste the information in as I go. But I just wanted you to know that in class we pasted all that in. Okay, so we had the contact information. Right, we gave it the H3 tag and we gave it an ID of contact. So this is where I am now. We brought the H3 tag in. We gave the ID equals contact. The name of it is contact info, and then we brought in that H3. All right, so we gave it a horizontal rule, and that I can easily type since it's really small. Really small information. So let's just go ahead and type that in. I was just noticing. Okay. All right, so let's give it HR. Okay, and one thing I like to do that I didn't do is save. So I'm going to save this one as index.html, making sure I'm saving it into that resume library student folder, and I am. Choose save. Okay, and maybe let's preview it a little bit. So let's go back to our main folder, and now we should have the index.html document in there. When we click on it, we can preview it. Okay, so our guy is in here. We have contact info in there, and we definitely have the horizontal rule in there. So far so good. I'm gonna minimize that. I'm gonna move that one out of the way. All right. Next bit of information we had in there was our address, our phone number. We also had a link, so I'm going to bring just this part for now. Well, nope, I'm going to bring it all in, and then we'll talk about it. Okay, save this. All right, so the next bit of information that I'm bringing in here is this paragraph, and then remember I had you guys put your own street address in there, and then the break tag, and then we had the phone number, and then the break tag, and then we had the email. Now after the email we have the link. We made the link for our email. So the link for our email was this A, right? So A tag by itself is, just a tag. The open A and the close A tag. But then inside of there, we need the href because we need to tell the browser, hey, what this link is referencing, right? What type of link is it? Is it an email link? Is it a target link? Is it a web link? Well, this one happens to be a mail to link. So we have the href attribute, which of course is the href equals quote, quote, right? Because it's an attribute. Then we have the mail to. Now we're telling it, oh, okay, mail to means that this is an email type of link. Then we have the colon, and then we have our email address that it's going to. This is my teacher email address. So that's what it's going to. Then we have the title attribute. And remember, the title is what, if you hover over, gives you information. So here the title is email me. Then we have your email address, which you would have put in there, and then we would close the link. Okay. And in class, I know we took out the brackets. So if you still have brackets in yours, go ahead and take those out. And then we close the paragraph. We give it another horizontal rule and another break. Okay, so at this point, let's save that. And let's see what it looks like. Okay, so as you can see, we have this bit of information down here at the bottom with the street address, state, zip code, our name, phone number, and your information will be custom to you. I'm just keeping it at the default that I have for the purpose of time and this recording. Okay, so now we're ready. We have that section done. It's closed up. I like to, at that point, go in and tighten everything up. After section, I know another section is coming in here, so I'm going to put a space. And I can put as many spaces as I want, because remember, the web really only sees one space. So I'm gonna put a few spaces just so that I can have room right here, and I'll know where my sections divide out. All right, so the next section, I'm gonna go ahead and bring in that whole section, and then we'll talk about it. All right, so we have another section. I'm bringing it in, and you're like, whoa, that's a lot of stuff, and it is. It is. All right, so the next section, we gave a class of social media, right? The social media attribute. Okay, so it's its section class equals social media. All right, so inside of the social media is where we're gonna have a few of our social media links, right? So now at this point, just to give it some separation, as I talk to you, I'm going to go ahead and separate each link out real quick. And I'm just separating it by putting space in between. I think I have to sneeze. Hang on. Okay, so I gave each area some separations. Now, in class, someone asked about breaking certain ones up. And notice right here, I have this break in between that one to make sure that the way I initially have it is I wanted these two to be on the same line, and then this one to be on the line below it. So, and then I also broke up the web address. And just to show you what I'm talking about is if I go to, let me see where the final one is. Oh, I closed it, I think. Maybe. Okay. Oh, if I go to this one, see how I have this Facebook link, and then this Twitter link, and this LinkedIn link. They're all over here on the left, right? I wanted the Facebook and the Twitter link to most of the time be side by side, and then the LinkedIn link to be right below it, and then the visit my website to be right below that. So to do that, I have these two and no break. Well, I have these two, but there's no break in between them. The breaks on the end. Then I have the LinkedIn one, which is breaking that line, and then a break at the end, and then to visit my website. So if we look at our code, this right here, this is the Facebook one. There's no break at the end. Then this is the Twitter one, and I have the break at the end saying, okay, now I want the LinkedIn, which is this one, to go to the next line, and then I have a break, and then I want to visit my website to go to the next line. Okay, so that's how this code is reading. So inside of each one of these, remember I had you guys copy and paste so you didn't have to type so much. So once you type the first one, the A link, then the href attribute, then you put in the website where it's going. This one's going to https://www.facebook.com/happy-teach, because mine is going to my personal one. Yours can just stop at .com if you don't know your address, or if you don't have a Facebook at all. Then I gave it a title attribute. So you write the title equals quote quote. Inside the quotes, you would write visit me on Facebook. The target for this would be the target attribute, target equals quote quote. Then inside of the quote quote, you'll put that underscore blank, and remember the underscore is the key that is up at the top next to the 0. You hold the shift key and you'll get your underscore. All right, and then now you have to tell it, oh, I have an image that, or you give it an image class, which is image class equals quote quote. Inside of the quote quote, we put FB. Then next to that, we need to give it a source attribute. So we're going to give it the source equals, and this is where we're telling the browser, hey, browser, go into the images folder. Inside of the images folder, you're going to see the facebook.png file. That's the file that I want displayed. That's all this is saying to the browser. Give it the width attribute, which in this case is 471, and the height attribute, which is the same at 471. Then you put some alt text in here. So for this one, You can put Facebook logo, because that's what it is. So the reader will read to someone who has a disability. They will read, Facebook logo, Or you can put visit me on Facebook. I can't remember what we did in class, but usually I try to stick with what I do for the title. So visit me on Facebook. Or you put Facebook me. You put whatever you want. So when we were finished with that one, we did the same thing for the Twitter logo. We just copied and pasted what was up there. And then all we had to do was change out the HTTPS. And that is going to twitter.com. Mine is going to happy97. Yours can stop at .com. And then the title we had to change out to send me a tweet or something like that. The target stays the same. You have to change out the image class. We made that one tweet. And then you would change the source. Because now it's going to the images folder. It's going to the twitter-bird-white-on-blue.png. We talked about another thing that you'd want to do is make sure your naming convention is short but understandable, so that you're not typing all of this information. But anyway, ours wasn't, and I didn't change it, and I should have, but I didn't. So once you type in your source attribute and the and where it's going, next you'll want to give it the width and the height. Both of those are 300 in this one. And then you'll want to put in your alt text of tweet me, and then close that link. Well, actually it'll already be there. So the only thing you're adding is the break tag. You're doing the same thing down below for the LinkedIn that we did up at the top, where you're going to copy that and paste it, and then you're just changing out the information. Like right here where it's going to link to, that's going to change. You'll probably just say www.linkedin.com. Your title attribute, you probably change that to let's link up. Target would stay the same. Your image class would change to like just the word link. And your source, as far as which one you're choosing, would change to that LinkedIn logo, 2cblack.png. You would change the width of this one, because this one's a long one, so it's not a square. The width of this one would be 589, and you would change the height to 145. Your alt equals, you would do connect with me on LinkedIn for your alt text. And then your A tag will already be here, and so will your break tag if you copied and pasted. Now for our last link in this area, and I think this is where we got to, I think we may have gotten further, but we'll see, was your A class equals, this one we're going to give it a class of visit. Okay, so you're going to type A space class equals visit. href equals, this one is going to be HTTP. For me, it's my website. You can just put in HTTP // If you don't have a website, you can put in futurewebsite.com or something like that. That's my actual website, so that's why I have something in there. Your title, you can put in visit my website. Target will be blank, and then you type visit my website and then do your A link. And then make sure that section closes. So the next area is our header area. And I'm going to copy that from over here and paste that over here. Again, this is just so that you don't have to sit through the painful process of listening to me type.